Pop, ugh, pop, ugh. That's the sound of tennis, my favorite sport. But tennis has changed a lot since the beginning. Today I will be taking you into the world of tennis. The game was first played in the year 1000. It was called Jeu de Paume. It was commonly played in a monastery. Two monks would tie a piece of string and then they would hit a ball over it. This was commonly played throughout France in monasteries. Over the next 300 years, tennis popularity grew. By the 13th century, there were over 1,800 courts in France. They were commonly built indoors in mansions and palaces. The game was played with paddles and rubber balls. King George VI and King George VII ordered courts to be built more in palaces, mansions, and other tennis places. This allowed the public to play tennis and more easily, and it made tennis popularity grew. But even with the popularity that it had during the 1700s, its popularity decreased. Then, in the 1850s, Charles Goodyear made a rubber ball that was so durable and able to bounce so high that you could play on a lawn made of grass. This solved a lot of problems because poorer people who didn't have enough money to go to these palaces and mansions could play on their own lawn. Then the All England Cricket Club needed money to repair their equipment. They hosted a tennis tournament. This was easy because a cricket court could easily be turned into a tennis one. The tournament was successful and they got enough money to repair their equipment. Then, the next 50 years, the tennis nets got lowered to what they are now. But people didn't use overheads until 50 years later. Then their styles began to change, like using 3 types of grips instead of just one. Then, Billie Jean King won the Battle of the Sexes against Bobby Riggs. And then she got women's #1 in singles. Then Bobby Bujumbura got #1 and increased the popularity of topspin with his wins. Then people started using graphite rackets instead of wood because wood would warp if the temperature was too high. And with graphite rackets, you can make the racket really big and really lightweight. Then came the 21st century. It was the decade of ground strokes because you had to run a lot and there was more space. For more information, visit my blog or scan the QR code.